Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I am coming at you with another college related video. So I have a bunch of these videos, whether you're transferring, whether you're looking into going to Virginia Tech, or you're going into interior design or going to interior design at Virginia Tech. So today I'm just going to be doing a Q&A. I have gotten so many questions from you guys about all of those topics, so whether it's specific to Virginia Tech or not, just transferring in general. I have gone through so much. I haven't officially graduated, but I just finished all of my classes and everything. I graduate in a few days officially, virtually, because unfortunately we are in quarantine. So today I am going to take all the questions I've got from you guys privately in DMs and also just on videos that I've made, putting it all together in one place. I know some of you have DM'd me and I kind of just said that I'm making a video on it just because it is getting a lot to kind of say it a bunch of times to different people. And then I also started doing voice recordings because it's just so much to type out. But today, hopefully a lot of those questions will be answered. I am also open to doing more videos just because I graduated. I still have a lot of advice on all of those topics, so I'm going to share that with you guys today. Okay, so I have my laptop right here. I jotted down all the questions, and the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to split the video up into 4 different sections. First, I'm going to be doing just transferring in general, then I'm going to be doing housing, then social life, and then grades and credits. And then feel free to leave any other questions you guys have that I didn't answer below. I can definitely do a part 2 to this. And then I also plan on making more videos specific to kind of diving into different questions that I've gotten that maybe need a whole another video for an explanation. So let's get into it. First section is going to be transferring in general. So one person reached out to me and said, I go to blank and I've been more okay with being there. It just has felt less horrible. However, I'm still finding myself longing for more from the school and I'm having trouble finding real reasons to say, did you ever feel this way? So the answer to that is totally yes. Just to go into a little bit more detail, I do have, and I'm going to be kind of linking videos into this video just because it will give you more if you haven't watched them. I do have a video on my transferring from High Point University to Virginia Tech. So when I first was at High Point University, I felt kind of how this person was feeling. So I was like okay with being there, but like I knew there was something more and more in store for myself. And it kind of goes back to like when you are not being challenged and you feel like there's literally more in store for you, like God has a bigger opportunity for you. And that's kind of how I felt when I was at High Point and before I transferred. I was with my roommate and my roommate and I both didn't want to be there, and it just so happened that a lot of people ended up transferring from HPU, but we both felt the same way, and she ended up staying one more semester than I did. I only stayed for 1 semester. But I just felt trapped. I didn't feel like I was in the right place. I felt like there was more opportunity somewhere else, and that had to do with just the school in general, program-wise, interior design-wise. But yeah, that I've definitely felt that before. Just finding true reasons not to stay. I've talked about this in another video about should you transfer, is like, what is your gut feeling saying, and like what is your gut telling you to do? And mine was like, okay, I could stay here and ride it out for the next 4 years, but is this going to be the best opportunity for me? And I just felt like I needed to jump and go for the other school. So that's when I talked to my parents, landed on Virginia Tech, and I had talked to my parents beforehand and they were really supportive of it. My mom definitely could tell that I was not at the right place. Next question was, were you kind of okay with staying but leaving? Still seemed like a better choice even though it was a scarier option. So I guess this kind of answer this with the first question. It's definitely scary to make that leap. And I think one thing I could say for this question that I didn't say at the last one is you're jumping out of your comfort zone. You literally picked up all of your belongings, you went to a school that you thought you were going to be at for the next 4 years, and then you're like 2 weeks in and you're like, I don't know if this is a place that I want to be at. And so it's a lot to do it again and push yourself to say, okay, I'm gonna pick up and I'm gonna move and I'm gonna do it again, and my parents are gonna have to help me, and I'm gonna have to mentally and physically and emotionally transition to another school. It is a lot and it is intimidating, but if you really feel like you're not being challenged, if you really feel like you're not in the place that's gonna help you grow and become the person you want to be outside of when you graduate, then it is a good option to make that leap. And just know that yes, you're jumping out of your comfort zone, but to be to be as cliche as it comes, life begins at the end of your comfort zone, and I've been telling myself that for the past 4 years, and I'm still telling myself that as I make the leap from moving to New Jersey to DC to start working. So I kind of live by that, even though it's pretty cliche, but I want to tell you that too because I know how scary it can be to make a leap when you're transferring. But if it doesn't feel right, you might want to kind of rethink that. And I go more into that in my other video that I will link. Moving into housing, the first question is, did you live on campus when you transferred? Did you choose to live off campus, or was it not an option? Your videos are really helpful. I'm hoping to transfer too. Okay, so for this question, it can be specific to Virginia Tech for living on campus, but also it might kind of work with other schools too. Specifically for Virginia Tech, I transferred in the summer program and I lived on campus for the 3 months during the summer, and then I moved off campus. And so if you don't know Virginia Tech, or you do and are familiar, there is a little bit of a housing crisis. They're building new housing, which should be solved in the next year or so anyway. But it is hard to live on campus after your first year because they really do give priority to freshmen, which I think is good. So that kind of goes into my answer, is like, you should live on campus, I think, your first year, at least your first semester, just so that you kind of build that ground for the environment, for the people around you. You can build relationships, kind of build your social life that way. And then once you move off, you might find someone in your first year that you can live with, or find a group of people that you can live with, all of that. So I would definitely consider living on campus wherever you are. Depending on the school, I know for Virginia Tech, you should definitely live on campus if you can. If you can't, it's not too big of a deal. You have plenty of opportunities to make friends and meet people, so it's not a big deal, but it would be ideal if you can live on campus. So it was an option for me because I transferred and then I lived off campus. Super easy to find housing, and there's a good range of expensive housing to lower end housing, but nothing is like crazy living conditions. Although I do have to say, do not live in Terrace View, and I am calling Terrace View out because I have not gotten my security deposit back, and I am graduated, and I lived there about 3 years ago. So if you are looking to live there, just don't. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who are in lawsuits with them and all of that can back me up on that. Next question is, did you just do your second freshman year semester home? If you didn't know, when I transferred, and I just mentioned this in the beginning, I only stayed at High Point for 1 semester, and then I transferred, but I actually stayed home for 1 semester because I could not transfer into my program the second semester. It had to be the summer program that I had to take. So I lived at home, which actually was a really nice transition for me. I actually took 3 online courses at a community college. All those credits transferred, which I actually made sure they transferred when I took them before I decided. I was at home, I was working, so I was working and doing 3 classes, which was kind of a lot, but it really kind of molded me to I've always had good time management, but it definitely helped me learn that. And so I did that, and then I transferred to Virginia Tech in May. So I was only home till May, and I got home around December. So December to May, and then I transferred to Virginia Tech summer program. How do I find roommates? So I'm gonna try to not be too specific into Virginia Tech. I obviously am, but I'm gonna try to make this easier for people if you're still just transferring, not necessarily Virginia Tech. So I actually got really lucky with finding roommates. So when I transferred in the summer, I lived on campus, and I actually got randomly paired with my roommate, and she was in the same program that I transferred in for interior design. So we got really close, and then we ended up living together my second year, and then my third and fourth year. My third year, we roomed together with a random roommate that we had obviously kind of picked her off of a Facebook group, which goes into my second part of the answer. And then my fourth year, we actually lived 3 of us. So it was me, my roommate from my transferring summer year, and then another friend from my interior design program. So we all got really close. And then my best friend, my other friend, we're all best friends, but my other friend lived across the street from me, and everyone's really close. So it was really nice. Got really lucky with that. But kind of goes back to it was random and it worked out. So there is a chance that if you do have random roommates your freshman year, it'll work out. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. And then how do you find roommates? So I would say for any school, go to their housing department and see if they can help you out. But I would first obviously look to friends if you can. But if there's no one that like you're close with and there's no one that you want to live with out of your friend group, which is understandable because some people you can be friends with but you just can't live with, you can also check out your school's Facebook group for roommates. I know Virginia Tech has one, so it's really easy to find people who are looking in your budget, and you might also find somebody who already has a place that you can move in with. I would definitely recommend meeting the person first and like asking them questions. It is a little awkward at first, but you kind of got to get those questions out. Like, are you messy? Are you neat? Do you do the dishes? Do you know how to vacuum? Like all those, questions. Okay, and then the next question is, I know you said that you only live in the dorm for a semester, but if you could do a video about the dorms at VT and any tips you would have, that'd be awesome. I'm looking to room in Maine, Campbell right now. Okay, so just to, I don't know if you're watching this, but just to kind of like answer all the questions about specific housing, I was only in PY, and PY is air conditioning, so I didn't have any air conditioning problems, which was really nice. And I know people aren't always as fortunate, but I can't speak of any of the other ones because I really haven't been inside any of them. I can only speak of that one, and it was nice. It was suite style, so it was like you and your roommate, and then the living room, shared common area / bathroom, and then the other suite style. And we actually got lucky when we transferred for our summer semester. The RA was in the other room, or actually it was three sets, if that makes sense. So it was me and my roommate, an empty room that could have fit 2 people, which nobody ended up moving into that, and then the RA, which was another 2-person room, but there was only the RA. So it was just the 3 of us. But I think it's a great kind of setup to meet people, and that's not to say you're gonna not meet people in other setups, but I can only speak to PY, so if you're curious about other ones, I can't really speak on that. Moving into social life, first question is, was it hard to make friends? And so for me, again, I got lucky. It was not hard to make friends at Virginia Tech. At High Point, it was a little bit harder. So my roommate and I got lucky with my whole roommate thing because we're both from New Jersey and we love each other, and it was just really great. And then I was in an all-girls dorm, so you met like a lot of girls that way. It was hard to just meet. It was hard to meet guys, and it was just harder to make friends. There really wasn't great opportunities to like go do things, and I know I'm gonna get people who are like, oh, there's great opportunities, whatever. But if you go to my transferring to Virginia Tech from HPU video, there will be a lot of people that will stick up for me saying that it's hard, okay? That school was just difficult in many ways. But at Virginia Tech, it was not hard at all. I got lucky with being really good friends with my roommate, and then everyone in my program I became really close with. So my interior design program is pretty small. It's about like 40 girls per class, so or 30-ish girls, a little bit less than that. So there was no drama between any of us, and I just graduated, and I can say like through all 3 years of being together, no drama between any of us, which was awesome. So got really close with them, and then there were a few girls that I got really close with that, the one girl I ended up moving in with. So it really was not hard to make friends. And I know it can be intimidating. It's definitely scary to leave high school, graduate, and like go to a new place. It is going to be scary, but just know, and I know you probably heard this plenty of times, but all of you guys moving in and being freshmen are in the same exact situation. You are all looking to make friends. And another thing I would encourage you to is keep an open mind. Like, don't just settle on one, clique or group of friends when you're starting out. Like, just spread those arms, and then as you move into your next few years, eventually it'll kind of like probably just dial down to those friends that you are probably gonna be friends with for the rest of your life. And then another thing is, how is the social scene? So I think the one part of the social scene would be the frat houses, and that is totally not the only social scene. That's the problem I had with High Point, is that was pretty much the only social scene when I was a freshman. But there's parties, there's house parties, and there's frats, and then so that's kind of like the partying social scene. I kind of like jumped right into that. But yeah, I would kind of split it into those two, which is kind of probably goes for all of it. And there's also like game day, which when I transferred from High Point to Virginia Tech and I went to game day, it was wild. And it was something you'd see on like Barstool Sports, like, and I mean the things are on Barstool Sports, but it was wild and it was freaking awesome, and I was like, I am meant to be at this school. But anyway, so that's the party scene. Social scene, there are plenty of clubs to join. Make friends with the people in your classes, kind of like obvious things, but I'm telling you it anyway. And if you get a job on campus, I'm sure you'll meet other Hokies slash students that are in the same boat as you that you'll, you know, connect with. But yeah, I think it's a really strong social scene and everyone's super nice. Like, just reach out to anyone you can, and especially when you're a freshman, like, everyone's in the same boat, like I said, so literally don't hesitate to make friends. But yeah, that being said, social scene is good. Okay, moving into the last section. So this is about grades and credits. How did you go about attending a community college and then transferring to Virginia Tech? My hair is wild. Like I said a little bit before, so I transferred from High Point to a community college, and I took 3 classes and I made sure that they transferred to Virginia Tech. So the way you could do that is Virginia Tech, and I don't know if all schools have this. If you don't or you can't find it, I would definitely contact admissions to make sure. Do not take any college classes if you don't know they're going to transfer, because it's just a waste of money. But so Virginia Tech has this website that it's the transfer website, and it basically is a transfer guide, so you can actually plug in the school that you're transferring from and the school that you're transferring to. Obviously it would be Virginia Tech, and then you can look at the classes and how they transfer over. So like, say you were going to take like a math 153 class, I don't know, I just made that up, then you could see how that math 153 class transfers to the Virginia Tech 153 class. So that class might rank lower credits at Virginia Tech, or it might rank higher, or it might just be even. So you can see also how electives transfer over. And then I would also encourage you, if you go to your counselor, your, I guess, guidance counselor, I don't know what they call it, I forget what they call it, but like your success person or whatever, make sure you talk about your credits being transferred over and what those classes were, because I know that some of my credits actually transferred over as electives when they were actually classes that counted as credits at Virginia Tech. All I had to do was say, hey, this class was about, you know, art history, can it transfer over as an art history class? And she'd be like, yeah, sure, and then she would change it in the system. Definitely talk about it. Don't let the system rule how those credits transfer over, because it's automated, and then when you talk to a person that can change that, it'll be helpful and save you money too. So yeah, I made sure that my credits transferred over before, and then when I got to Virginia Tech, I would say that helped me a little bit with not having to do another year, but I also transferred in instead of as a first year, second year, so that helped me as well. But I would definitely look into that, because that might make or break you graduating within a certain time period. What GPA did you have? What were your grades like? So I am just gonna say that I have good grades. I'm not gonna like say any GPA or anything. And I didn't have any trouble with pass-fail or anything. I actually only took 1 pass-fail class, and that was my wine class senior year, because wine class is awesome. If you are going to Virginia Tech, take wine class your senior year. It's really, really awesome. But yeah, that was my only pass-fail class, and I'm glad I did it that way, because I didn't really need any like GPA booster. Did they accept a lot of transfer credits? So like I said, this is kind of repeating. Yes, they actually accepted all of them, and the ones that were like elective-ish classes transferred as electives. And like I said, I made sure to kind of look those over and see how all of them transferred, because some of them transferred over as electives that weren't supposed to transfer as electives. The last question, how big are the classes at Virginia Tech? So I am going to speak on just in general. So I've had a few classes that were lecture classes, which is like upward of like 300 people, and those were kind of like basic classes that I had taken. And then there's also like smaller classes, and I can only really speak to the interior design program, architecture / interior design program. Obviously foundations, if you know what I'm talking about, foundations is around, I want to say like 30 people, and then when you get to interior design program, it's 30 or less or more. The program's actually growing, so there's probably upward of around 28, 29 people. So classes definitely range depending on what class you're taking, and I actually took online classes too, which doesn't really matter how many kids are in that class because it's an online class. But I actually liked taking online classes because for my interior design classes, they were all in the same location. They were in studio, and then there was like a studio classroom. So I took my other classes except like 1 or 2 online so that I didn't have to be somewhere else. I would just like be in my interior design studio, and then I could do my other classes online. That is the end of this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, feel free, do not hesitate to reach out and ask me more questions about transferring, about Virginia Tech, about interior design, about being an interior design major in general. If you have post-grad questions, let me know. I'm going to be moving to DC and vlogging the whole experience, living in DC, working in DC, working as an interior designer. But like I said before, just because I graduated doesn't mean I can't answer more questions about all the crazy journey that I went through with transferring and all of that. But I am proud to be a Hokie. If you are thinking of going to Virginia Tech, definitely consider it. Put it high on your list. It's a great school, and it also has a really great alumni system, so you are definitely getting a job when you graduate. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to check out all of the other videos below. I will link them, college related, Virginia Tech related, interior design related, all of them, and I will update the list as I make more. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!